guess we'll open this Gilliam County Court regular meeting Wednesday, January 3rd, 2018. Welcome to the new year. It is 10:05. First order of business that we have is the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we do have an adjustment to the agenda. First of all, our 11 o'clock appointment, Miriam McDonell will not be here. She is rescheduled to be here on the 17th of January, although we do need to still have some discussions. One of the reasons why I'm kind of late getting up here was I was meeting with Sheriff Bencourt, and he has some concerns. We did get some contracts from that North Central Public Health has with Sherman County and Wasco County for providing medical examiners work, and so Sheriff Bencourt would like to comment on some of those also.
Did we ever get an official resignation from Dr. Carlson?
Well, yeah, there's an email sent to us that it was brought out, I believe, the middle of November, stating that he was.
Was it from him?
It came from him.
Okay.
Yeah. That he was no longer going to be providing services.
As I recall reading it, it wasn't very. It was kind of vague. But I may have to see it again.
Yeah.
It was quite a ways back.
Okay. I didn't. Okay, anyway, we'll still have discussion about that.
Okay.
It just will be without her here. Also, I've added discussion items 3.5. It's in regards to the Soil and Water Conservation District. I think there were some questions about the background, and I thought we might have a little discussion on how we come to that discussion. So that's really it. Do you guys have anything to add, or? Okay, good. So, I guess we might as well jump into some action items here, things that are probably going to roll fairly quickly. Did everybody get through the regular court meeting minutes from December 20th?
Yes.
I did. There were a couple of things that I had in there that, one specifically, and it was the spelling, the last name spelling of the new maintenance position. I believe it was spelled Kaufman, and it's Cooff. I think that was the only one
I saw on page 3 at the bottom, agenda just had an extra A in front of it. And also, I think it said the next meeting, our next scheduled meeting was January 17th.
Right.
Get that one.
Oh, yeah, that's the only thing I
Is
noticed.
that not right?
Today would have been the next Oh. scheduled meeting.
Yeah, I skipped just a little bit there.
That was all I saw.
Those. I made all 3 of those corrections.
Anything else? I missed the 2 A's in agenda, so. Okay. Well, I would entertain a motion to approve the regular court meeting minutes.
I so move.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the December 20th, 2017 regular court meeting minutes with the corrections. Any further discussion? There being none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hey, Mike, I'm not sure you were able to get through the executive session minutes yet. They just, I believe. Okay, approval of the December claims pending review. I haven't received the latest, or at least the second AP for the, I expect it any day, it probably will be on my desk. What would be the second half of December?
I've seen mine.
Have you?
Yeah. But it's, I move we approve the December claims pending review, but that's those we haven't even seen yet.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay. Moved and seconded to approve December claims pending review. Any further discussion? There being none? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, 2.4, we've had lots of discussions about this, and I really think we need to get it down some way, shape, or form on how we're going to handle new hires and where we're going to put them in the step process. There's been two circumstances to where we did a hire on the day before a court meeting, and then met with the employee the day after the hired employee the day after. And I guess under both of those circumstances, and I think you even had one, Mike, where,
Yeah.
it's really hard for us to, I guess you have this hiring committee, they've looked at the applications of these individuals, they've had conversations with these people, they're weighing, what their experience is, what they're, in making the selection of who this person is going to be. They're coming back with a recommendation of where this person should step, or should set within our steps scale. How much input should we, the county court, have in that? I guess what I'm asking for is that we give some authority to that interview committee to align that person or assign that person the location.
Well, I think we can, but I think it's an individual case. Each set of positions, whatever position comes up, I think we need to discuss it and either pre-approve it or bring it back to us. I mean, if they're in such a big hurry to hire, that's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, it can come back to us after they offer the job. But that was the problem with the road department one, was that he wasn't given, until we offered the job to him, then he came back and said, well, I can't work for that
Mm-hmm.
kind of deal. So I mean, it takes a little bit of going back and forth, but I can't think I do not want to give that committee just blanket approval to do whatever they want.
Mm-hmm. And I think that committee should have that authority.
Okay.
Yeah, the reason being is they looked at, they see all the applications, they do the interview, they do virtually everything that determines, the skill level of this person, and their abilities to fulfill that specific location. I think all three of us here recently have been in a hiring situation. I can't think of a single one of them that, at the time wasn't sort of in a rushed process.
And that's not a good deal. Like a rush hire.
It isn't.
No.
It isn't.
I guess one question I would have about the salary schedule is, it kind of looks to me like it was set up that everybody would just start at step one. I mean, how well does it work if we're not following it that way? I mean, I understand that there are situations where people have more experience, but then why are we using this salary schedule?
Well, in previous history, that was followed really close, that you just automatically started at the base.
Okay.
Correct? Yes.
Yeah, it was. So in putting out for the, you know, the job, I don't want to call it the job description, but the job posting. And
Right.
what we've been doing is putting in
Range.
the range. So that would eliminate putting the range in there. It would only be that bottom salary.
Right.
I guess, you know, my concern is
Yeah.
to get good quality people onto the job based on what they're.
And that is a concern, but, you know, you can always, I mean, it can be put back out there if you don't, correct?
True. Yes. Except when you're in a hurry.
Yeah.
And I think that is a good way to go. Because you can, I mean, if we're having trouble hiring people, that's one thing. But you can hire, you may even hire a person the best one, and they're still set the bottom salary. Money isn't always their number one priority.
You know, another thing too, it makes me think about, if the hiring committees are always different groups, you know, if the county court is the one that's going to make these types of decisions, at least we would have a little bit of continuity.
Yes.
You know, when there's always different groups doing the hiring, we're gonna be all over the place, and then, you know, what might happen in one department, the road department may not be the same as what happens in, you know, I worry a little bit about us treating different employees, you know, well, so-and-so got to start 3/4 of the way up the schedule, and then in this situation, they just started right at the bottom. And I think that's another thing. I think we just need to be consistent.
And that's where the court would tend to give it more consistency. Hopefully. Yeah.
Are you guys talking about new hires or vacated positions? Trying to fill a position?
Well, if you have a vacated position, then you're going for a new hire. The difficulties that we have is, you know, let's say, and here's where I see some problems happening, is we have a union employee that is working in, and this is where I think portions of it kind of got started. A union employee working in one department, we open up a position someplace else, and this employee would really like to go into that job, but in doing that, they'll take a cut in pay to take that position. And so the union, I think, was the one that said, we're coming in, some, part of what you have when you start that person at step A is, I mean, they don't know where the printer is, they don't know how the phones work, they don't know any of these kind of things, whereas you have a person that's coming from another position within the courthouse or within the county.
Yeah.
They already know all those things. So that's part of the training process that you don't have to go through. Is there value to that?
Yeah. The very example there is Judge Pat Shaw, who had worked in the courthouse for a number of years. She went in and started at the base, correct? Yes. So that's, she was willing to do that, but it wasn't a pay cut in that particular case.
Right. I'm open to either way. I just feel that if we're going to post for the job, we can't put the range in.
But if we're gonna just make our first posting base salary. Yeah.
And then if somebody comes in and we decide we pick the best candidate, then that candidate says, you know, I'm not interested in doing this for that base salary. I feel I'm worth more, then we just start all over.
Start over again. Exactly. Oh, yes, in that case. Yeah. Because this is what we posted.
Okay.
And if we don't follow that, then we're worse off. Than if we did the other route. That would be our inconsistency there, for sure. But that's another reason why the job postings need to come through us too. Since we don't have an HR department. If we had an HR department, we'd probably that would be their responsibility. If they didn't do it right, then they would be answering to us.
Okay. Settled, right? Yeah, so. Okay, appointment of the Gilliam County Budget Officer. Nathan Hammer has been our budget officer for the past couple of years. I suggest that we stay with him.
Has he indicated he wants to do it?
Yeah.
Okay. And then I move we appoint Nathan Hammer as the budget officer for Gilliam County, 2018.
Okay. Moved and seconded to appoint Nathan Hammer as the budget officer for the 2018-19 fiscal year, or 2018 appointment. Any further discussion? There being none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, I'm going to skip 2.6 and move down to 2.7 and 2.8 real quickly. Consider 2.7 is consider designation of voting precincts. I did get a call from the county clerk, Ellen Wagner, concerned that we were changing some things with that. I told her that, no, this was really just kind of picking the specific locations for voters to.
Wait, what part are we changing?
We're not changing anything.
Oh.
She was concerned that it was on the agenda. She had never seen it before.
Oh.
I wanted you guys to be aware that she was,
Oh.
had a concern, thought something was happening, and it's not.
It's just a housekeeping issue.
It's housekeeping.
Done annually.
Yeah.
So moved.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to designate the voting precincts of Arlington #1, East Condon #6, and West Condon #7. Any further conversation? There being none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Consider designation of county roads outside unincorporated areas of Arlington, Condon, Lone Rock as Road District #1. Another one of those housekeeping.
I so move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to designate county roads outside of unincorporated areas of Arlington, Condon, Lone Rock as Road District #1. Any further discussion? There being none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, we'll start with the designation of Gilliam County depositories, Bank of Eastern Oregon, Banner Bank, and the local government investment pool.
Also move.
Okay.
Second.
Moved and seconded to designate Gilliam County depositories as the Bank of Eastern Oregon, Banner Bank, and the local government investment pool. Any further discussion? There being none, all those in favor?
Aye.
2.10 is designation of newspapers of record, the Times Journal and the East Oregonian.
I so move.
Okay.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to designate newspapers of record, the Times Journal and the East Oregonian. Any further discussion?
Yeah, I really do have some concern about the Times Journal. And it's probably an age thing, so I'll withhold.
You want to throw some rocks now, Mac? Or? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, good. All right. At this particular time, I'm going to kind of, we're just a little bit early, but I see that Rob has come in, and that it's in regards to the Pioneer Community Development Representatives to discuss and consider memorandum of agreement. We had the latest version given to us this morning. So, but there's a few things that I kind of want to go over. So I'll lead into this, Rob, and then have you come up. We've had maybe in conversations with legal counsel, how we're going to draft this. This is something that is completely new to him, and we really had some difficulties communicating, I guess, what all it is that we're kind of looking for. And really, I think what this was kind of the message that I felt that I was receiving was, we wanted to come up with a program here that stimulated a housing build here. But it wasn't something that we were just, here you go forth. And the goal was to try and really, in some way, shape, or form, get some of those funds back after a period of time. The length of time that we've kind of talked about is 7 years. As to, after a 7-year period of time, if this isn't working, let's pull back and see if there is something else that can be done. We're going to know before that, whether it will, but also after a 7-year period of time, we know that we felt that was kind of a long enough time frame to say we stimulated. Yeah. So anyway, with leading into that, that was one of many things that we've had discussions about. I would like to go ahead and have Rob come up, and we can kind of go through this memorandum of agreement that again is a draft at this particular time, and we'll kind of go through it sort of section by section. I'm hoping it doesn't take us that long, but I want you guys to really get a good understanding of what I want, an understanding of what you see this being, and also what we've kind of talked about. So if we, it's a memorandum of agreement between Gilliam County and the Pioneer Community Development. That's the first paragraph of it. It also states that the county, it really probably should be PCDC, participated in and performed in a county solutions project team, which collected and analyzed data concerning housing within the county and gave advice on the ways to improve housing by creation of incentives to build new housing and rentals to improve existing structures. We know that PCDC is a nonprofit corporation, and that the county and the corporation have agreed to assist with as a public-private venture to improve and increase this. So it leads us down into what would be the next aspects. Does anybody have any problem with those first lines there? Yeah, I mean, pretty basic. I think the first one is just basically covering where it's at. The next one, item number 2, gets a little more into the teeth of things. That we would make available is the words that are here. The sum of $500,000 in the fiscal year 2017-18 for loans to citizens of Gilliam County. During the second fiscal year, we'll make available to the corporation the sum of $750,000.
That probably needs to say loans and grants. You didn't catch that one. The 500,000.
Oh, yes.
I also think that where it says citizens of Gilliam County, there needs to be something that specifies that the property has to be located in Gilliam County.
Okay.
Yeah, that statement is like, I could just come in and ask for a loan from the county. It has nothing to do with PCDC.
So what if at the end of number 1 it said, at the end of that paragraph, in Gilliam County or located within Gilliam County or something?
Located within Gilliam County.
This looks like something that needs to be done in a work session.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's-
we're looking at it, trying to do an action item here right now.
Well, there's been,
I just received
what do you
it.
think, 3 work sessions, Rob, that we've gone through?
Well, we've only gone through one with Will, so.
I mean, that's what we're doing right now.
I guess I've had one other with Will. Yeah, I just want to try and get you guys up to speed on where things are going with this, so.
Yeah.
It's still a work in progress. The idea, the December 6th court meeting was to have this
Done.
ready to
Yeah,
go by
yeah.
January 3rd, but it's still a work in progress. So I think the judge felt like, you could get your input since it's on the agenda.
And we actually had it scheduled for half an hour and,
Okay.
okay. So the corporation is, and this, I guess, is where we kind of run into some difficulties with this. That, the payments go out, I believe the PCDC asked for these payments, in one large lump sum so that they could begin doing work with it. This states that it would be going out in the form of progress payments for approved projects. I think that's a little different than what we've been discussing.
I don't think PCDC necessarily would have a problem if, the funds were dispersed, per project from the treasury. That makes sense as well.
Okay.
It's, rather than just, giving us 500,000 and say, here you go. I think it's a better trail and is probably better governing on the county's part to have to make sure that we do it that way, rather than just throw it out there.
Okay.
So that you guys have a trail as well. Here's where that money's going, and this is what it's going for. Every time we do a draw, there's nothing complicated about sending that to Nathan Hammer and say, hey, here's the draw that we need, and this is what we need it for. Please send us that money. Whether or not he thinks that is going to be burdensome to him would be the only thing that he might have a problem with. But so he's going to be writing checks, on a more regular basis than if he just ran his money all the time. So we're fine either way.
Okay. So basically what this will say is that Rob will request to Nathan, Nathan will come to us, and then we'll give the okay on the project.
Well, that's micromanaging
So you guys are going to approve each project or just the payments?
payments,
Right.
is what I would say.
You're giving us.
Well, yeah, we're not gonna look at, but.
You put us in charge
Right.
of the projects and administering of the individual loans and things. But I certainly think you can vote on whether that money needs to go out, but I don't think you
Right.
need to vote on the project.
Right.
And it does say for use by borrowers on projects approved by the corporation.
Right.
Okay.
But again, it says borrowers, not,
Right.
because it could be a grantee if it's on the
You
rehabilitation.
could add grantee in there.
It won't be just borrowers, it is, if the PCDC is asking for funds for.
Well, it could also be borrowers as well. There's
Right,
nothing-
yeah, it will be borrowers.
It will be
Or
borrowed.
you'll have some people who may
But
not
not
be,
just
grantee.
borrowers.
you
Yeah.
may not have some people who may not be borrowing, but they're taking advantage of the grant.
Exactly.
But you also may have borrowers who are doing,
Right.
taking advantage of both, so.
Right. But the way this is worded, and this was a change yesterday, I think, from one of the earlier drafts you saw, it now says corporation may request that the county court disperse the entire amount of the project. Project is approved by the corporation, but it's saying county court, so it's like the PCDC is gonna, rather than ask the, go straight to the treasurer's office, the request is gonna come to the court, and you may want to change that in this discussion, but that's the way it's now worded.
Right.
Well, that's up to the county court.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be the most efficient way probably to do it, but,
Well, the
but it
reason,
might be the.
yeah, the reason I think it came up in the discussion with legal counsel is, who is the county? Who here is the one that can disperse the amount? It didn't say the county treasurer, it didn't say the county court, it just said the county in the first draft. So we were trying to define where the request comes. Who has the authority to disperse it?
And I want to know if these, the other two here are wanting to know that now they have a project and somebody's coming in asking for $185,000. That they come to us, they then at that particular time are asking us to release the $185,000 for the project that they have.
And that seems-
A borrower, or it could be a grantee who's going to get $10,000.
I mean, to me, that seems to be doing it twice, where you approve the funds for our program, and that the way that they're gonna be dispersed, I thought was gonna be through the treasurer, rather than the court.
Yeah, that seems that way to me
Because
too.
you've already,
You've already said okay to
You've approved the
500,000.
request for the X amount of dollars. The only time we would have to come back to you is if, we end up having a need for more than $500,000 because we,
Yeah, we have so many projects that are
I
done.
don't see that happening, but in such a short time, but I think that's gonna slow our process down that much more to come back every time we have a project and ask for the draw.
Yeah, and
You
that
disagree, or-
really came from legal counsel.
That came from legal counsel and feeling that, that's maybe the way we ought to do it, as far as the advice that come from legal counsel is to have them come back each and every time. And it was different than what we had been discussing.
But I have to come back in a county court meeting?
Yeah, that
Because
part
that's the
we have
problem,
from
I
legal
mean,
counsel.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I can't give you any money for 2 weeks because I have to go back to the court and ask for it. I mean,
Right, and that part the county court part didn't come from legal counsel, but they're requesting that the funds be dispersed by project came from legal counsel, then I raised the question, who is
The county?
the county that disperses the funds? It could say county treasurer.
I don't have a
Or we
problem-
could just say
I don't
county
have a
and
problem with
then
that.
it's up to whoever's
If we've already okayed the 500,000,
fine.
I would be okay with it just going to the county treasurer and
Right.
Mhm.
having it dispersed.
Based on the projects.
Right.
Okay.
I certainly, we expect, have reports,
Well, yeah.
about what the projects are.
Yeah, and the next one really kind of covers that. Number 3, it agrees that a report to the county court each quarter would give a detailed written accounting of all the funds loaned. So,
And granted.
and granted, and granted.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, and some of the, it is like a work session, but some of the funds are for admin also. So it's
yeah, they
not
are,
just
so it's,
loans and grants.
I think the PCDC on number 4 has really proven that fact over the years, that they make all loans in a business manner, requiring adequate security and so on and so forth. The thing that's a little bit different here is it lists the county as the secured party in the event of a default.
right, I'd have to ask the attorney about that because the deed of trust is going to be between PCDC and the borrower. And it's not typical to have a different beneficiary than the person that is granting the deed of trust.
Right.
I mean, unless it's okay to make the county the deed of trust between the county and each borrower, but does the county really want to do that? I mean, I thought that was part of the reason to have PCDC do this, is to remove, that type of,
Yep. Right.
I mean,
Yeah, and,
But that's where it gets a little bit difficult also, is we represent the taxpayers of this county. It's their money. And the taxpayers' dollars are going to be sitting in somebody's home for a period of time.
Well, when the feds give grants to PCDC, it wasn't.
right, we talked about that with Will. Will was pretty clear on this one, that it should be the county court, and so we talked about that, state dollars and federal dollars. But when they come back to the PCDC, the state and federal government are not ever expecting the funds to come back, but what I'm hearing with this is they're coming back, and I think that's why we'll,
And that's,
But if you're-
there is
what,
point
where's the
two.
protection for the county?
Why do we expect the money to come back to the county, not just stay in the PCDC? Because then it'll keep working there.
Well, I think that, the way that the way we brought this whole thing, Mike, was that was not the intention of, it's just to incentivize, people to do things. The county has put $1.2 million up for this project. But the idea is that once we get some things going, that private sector, steps up and begins to come in. I don't, think that this was ever intended to be an ongoing thing. To be honest with you, with the amount of money that PCDC has already in notes receivable on the books, plus cash assets, if we're able to use the whole $1.2 million over this period and bring it all back to you, we've got by that time, we're going to have a lot of payoffs on all those notes that we have. My thought is then we pick it up, because PCDC was originally set up to do low income. We've done 90 houses in Gilliam and Wheeler County, and we're running out of low income people to help. So it'd be a shame just to have that money just sit there when we could be doing this type of thing. But this is a jump start. I love your idea, leaving it in PCDC, but I'll have to say that was not what we brought to the court. And I didn't think that's what you guys had to go through.
Well, it really complicates the way we're wanting this money back.
It complicates the way that we have to set terms up for the loans, but.
Right, well, let's go down to number 5, which has a grants for demolition structures shall not exceed $10,000. That come from you guys. Those are grants, that's money that is basically they go in, tear down the house, or asbestos abatement, or whatever it is that, they come to you. New housing, we had a maximum loan of $185,000. Again, this come from you guys. Construction of the new housing should be completed within 1 year of, and that come from you also. So they build the house, they have 1 year to be able to come up with alternative financing, whether it's a sale or whatever. What we're asking, this is the part that, in reading it,
I'm a little confused by this part.
Full payment of funds to be returned to the county shall occur within 3 years of the loan. I think I don't feel that we need to have that in there. I think that.
Not if we've already stated that they have to pay the loan back in 1 year, so.
Yeah, well, I just don't think the county, I think we give this we later discussed this being a 7-year program. It's on number 8.
I mean, frankly, I don't see, unless there's some huge job machine out there that we're not aware of just yet coming to Gilliam County. I don't know if we're going to see that much new construction, ongoing, but yeah, I think the 3-year thing should be, it doesn't make any sense to me to put that in there when you've already got the 7 years down below.
Right.
And, it's important that we limit the term to 1 year on new construction, but the return of the funds to the county should be just part of the overall agreement, I think.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes and no. Because, are we talking about the whole, just for the lump sum of dollars, or are we talking about the individual projects?
This is the construction of new housing.
And so maybe one of the things we're lacking here is the definitions of what a project is too. That gets a little confusing.
Well, what a
is
project.
The project, us loaning them money, that's a project. And is it, the demolition of a house is a project, building a house is a project. So, I mean, we're breaking down between us loaning them money, in a sense, we're loaning them money and we're granting them money, two things.
Mhm.
And then that loan is, at the end of 7 years, we just expect all the money to come back to us.
Well, not all the money, all the.
Well, all the loaned money
Yeah, right.
would come back to us, plus interest.
Mhm.
So, I mean, yeah, this,
Well, that's another thing, you know, it's, I mean, I guess do we charge interest on this?
yeah, well, that's another grant then.
On a quarterly basis, Rob's gonna come in here and say, okay, we have 3 houses that we give $30,000 or $10,000 to each one of them to be demoed. So,
Oh, yeah.
you know, right away, we know that $1,170,000 is what we can expect back.
Now, what's he doing to get, what?
He's demoing 3 houses.
All right, demoing 3 houses, that's a grant.
Right.
Okay.
So now, and this is the first quarterly report that he gives us, so we know at that time that $1,170,000 is what is left for them to do whatever it is that they want to do as far as loans, or demo some more houses. But that $1,170,000 is what we could expect back.
Right.
Minus the.
So we get that quarterly report. The next time, you know, he's got a $150,000 loan that's going to be going out. And this is to build a new house, and within 1 year, you're gonna get the money back. And we're well aware of the fact that that is going to happen, because in the quarterly report, you give it to us. And-
Well, the other piece of it too, Mike, that you have to think about as far as the interest goes, the increase in property taxes is going to be pretty substantial as we rehab these basically derelict properties. I mean, I've gone through the assessor's reports for both ends of the county, and it appears that any type of improvements dramatically increase the property tax rolls, and that's something that you continue to get year after year, that right now you're not getting because these properties are just sitting there.
Okay.
We're not trying to grow government here.
Right.
So I think what I got out of B, and I don't know whether I got it from these two yet, but the full payment of and funds to be returned to the county shall occur within 3 years of the loan date. We're on number 8 here. It says all sums loaned by county pursuant to this agreement shall be repaid on or before July 1 of 2025. That's 7 years from now. 7.5 years.
So shouldn't we strike that?
I'm
3
thinking
years?
we should strike the 3-year thing. Unless you guys want, you know, the 1.2 million that we give them, any new houses that they construct, we get that money back 3 years from the date that they sign the contract.
That restricts us from ongoing loans using that same money.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we give it back to you again, you know, when you have come back with another, you know, that sort of thing too. But I mean, I think that was thought about too, and that, I mean, it's going to turn the money. But I agree that why not just leave it with you until the end of that time? Hope you got it.
All right, so Leslie, are you good with striking that?
This is the first time I've seen it, so I think I'm gonna need some time to try to,
I agree. I just want to, I told Rob when we met last Thursday that there was no way that we were going to have this thing finalized today. You guys would, I just want some input on what's coming from your mind in this too.
I just got this morning, just.
I got this
and
this
everybody
morning.
did.
Yeah, so, yeah. Okay, now let's go to C. Rehabilitation loans made where the borrower's existing first security on the property shall be repaid in full within 3 years from the date of the loan. Such loans, and the 50,000 come from the PCDC is the maximum that they want to be able to put out on those. The 3 years was something that during the discussions that we had, the goal of a rehab is really for a rental type situation. So, Mike, you have a house, you get $50,000, you rehab it, you're renting it out. Okay. Do we let this go for 20 years for you to rent the entire time before we get our money back? I felt that so I had conversations with a loan officer at the bank, and I said, how long does it take for somebody to really get an idea on, you know, how much revenue they're gonna have off of it, and when is it that they could come in and get a conventional loan? And they said it was anywhere between 2 and 3 years that they could get that loan. So Mike, you got 50,000, you rehab the house, you rent it out for a 3-year period of time. After 3 years, it would be up to you to go get a conventional loan to continue your rental, as opposed to using the PCDC's and county's money to keep this up and going.
But it isn't necessarily rental in this thing here.
That's
It's just
another question
rehab.
I wanted to bring up. I wondered if you,
Right, I mean,
it doesn't define what the PCDC's.
well, and to be honest with you, 3 years, I don't know where they got the 2 to 3 years, because nothing's gonna pencil out in 2 to 3 years out here. I mean, because you don't have the property increase in value that you might see in other areas. And you're not gonna have a big surge in, you know, in rental value. You'll have higher rental income because you've improved the property. But are those rents gonna go up like they do, you know, in Hermiston or Boardman or someplace that has a huge demand? The rehabilitation loans, that was where the 7 years came. I mean, you're gonna have to give these people some terms that they can live with. I mean, if we only do 3 years, we're not really offering them any more than some bank would. I mean, we're supposed to be incentivizing these folks to do something that they haven't been doing, you know, because this is all they've got.
And you've had a similar rental program that only gave.
Right, we have a rental program currently that only gave 5 years, and nobody wants it because it didn't cash flow for them.
What was the cap on it? Is it 25,000?
It was only 15,000.
So do you think it's the cash flow aspect or just the 15,000? To me, it's the 15,000. A whole lot of people, you can't really do a whole lot with $15,000.
But that was for our program, that program is for existing rentals.
Right.
It has to have already been a rental. So they have a rental, and they have a rental stream. It's just a way for them to, and plus that's also for low income. They
needed to
they
be
had
low
to do
income.
low income,
Right.
you know, people.
Right.
And so that's another big part why nobody wanted it, because they're gonna put more money into something and they won't be able to raise the rents because it has to be to a lower income person. You know, so it's, again, we're trying to incentivize the middle market here, you know, the private market to come in and invest dollars. And, you know, I can tell you, I got a proposal from a guy this morning, and it's, you know, it needs to be pretty aggressive to make it work for these guys. I mean, that's just the way it is. I mean, we're in Gilliam County. I mean, they don't have the time, they don't have the value certainty that they might have in 7 years from now in a bigger city or in a metro area or something like that. So, again, we're trying to incentivize these people to do it. We're going to put deeds of trust, you know, security interests out there to protect ourselves the way we would on any transaction. But if we limit it to, you know, just 3 years, I don't see anybody taking advantage of it.
So what you're saying is in 3 years, they won't be able to go to a conventional loan?
I don't see how they would be because they're not going to have enough equity in the property yet.
Yeah.
Well, that's not what they're going to get the loan off of, probably. They're going to get it off of the amount of revenue that they're going to be able to get within the house. So in other words, if they're getting $1,000 a month.
Well, they're still going to, the loan's still gonna be based on loan to value. I mean, it's a commercial loan, it's gonna be based on loan to value, cash flow certainly has
Oh,
to
it's gonna be a big
has-
part of it.
Has to be there,
It's-
but
It's gonna be a big part.
I think 2-3 years is not enough for them these guys wanna hold on to it. I mean, they wanna, that's what we want, we wanna create, long-term, rentals here that are higher quality, and there's a reason to keep them up. And again, it's just, we're incentivizing investors, and they're telling us, and this is what we found during our whole Oregon Solutions thing. They need serious incentives.
Okay.
Lori?
Oh, yeah, we have a question on the,
I just want to say as a landlord, looking 3 years, we're not always guaranteed rent.
mhm.
So there could be, and I've been handling rental properties for probably 10 years now.
Right.
There can be a lull where you don't have anybody who is wanting to rent at that time.
Mhm.
Right now, there's a demand for it, but that's not always going to be there, and especially if we've got new housing going in. So it's kind of an iffy situation as far as, will you have rent? And that's one of the things we talked about in the committee was that, to give them a chance to get somebody in there that's going to be a long-term renter. So you're not always going to have renters. You're not going to be guaranteed you always have renters.
Yeah, and I think that in C, the PCPC's definition of what the rehab loans are for needs to be reflected in there, because the way this is worded, it could
Yeah, I mean, it's just really general. I mean,
be, not necessarily somebody that's renting.
my overall thing is this is a super general thing and might need to be
Okay.
nailed down a lot tighter as far as definitions and those types of things go, but the 3 years, I know that may have come from, a board meeting that we had recently, but since that time, I've also talked to a lot of investors, and it's not something that, it's just not gonna work.
Well,
The 7 years, getting the money back to you in 7 years, we can make that work by setting up terms for that length of time.
yeah. I guess my concern, 7 years, I think that's more than enough time for somebody to make a decision, and whether it's Lori or anybody else, to make a decision as to whether they're gonna develop enough revenue, or I think it's too long for them to determine whether they're gonna develop enough revenue as keeping this as a rental or putting it up for sale.
Well, they don't have,
Well,
for one thing, they don't know what interest rates are gonna be in 3 years, and they're not gonna get
Well, nobody
anywhere
knows.
near the
Nobody
interest
knows.
rates that
Yeah,
we're,
that's-
but
yeah.
they're not gonna be anywhere near the interest rates that we're gonna offer. And that's part of their long-term, as an investor, that's part of their analysis is, if they don't, it's like having an adjustable loan. You don't know in 3 years what's gonna happen. If they know for certain what's gonna happen for 7 years, then they're willing to stick their toe in there and do it. If they want to, if they decide they want to refinance it for whatever reason, or maybe they want to, or sell it, or whatever they want to do, that's great, but, they've got to have that amount of time to make this investment work for them. It's not a matter of whether they can go out and get a bank loan right now for these type of properties, or they can't.
Yeah, and that's what we're trying to do, is develop some funds for them to be able to do what they want to do, and then go get a bank loan.
But not in 3 years.
So what do you think that should be? I don't
It
like
should be
7
7.
years.
I think it's gotta be, I think 7 is actually, from what I'm hearing, would be kind of low. I mean, again, these are long-term investments that people
So,
are making.
okay, July 1st, 2025, you make a loan, and I'm going off of, so in August of 2024, you make a loan on a rehab. 7 years from that date would be the time that the county could expect to get their money back.
We're not gonna be making loans then because we have to pay the money back in 7 years.
Okay, so the rehab, the only thing that we're talking about then is loans that are gonna happen in 2018.
Or 19, then it has to maybe be 6 years. It has to be 6 years. You know, if we have a drop dead date of 7 years to get the money back, then we have to tailor our terms
Okay.
to that drop dead date. You know, clearly
Okay.
we can't be making loans in 2022 for 7 years if we have to pay the money back. I mean, if somebody's willing to do that and have a balloon payment, you know, in 2025, then that's different.
Yeah.
But they're not likely to want to do that. Again, I think we're trying to get some momentum going in the marketplace.
Okay.
And, you know, we may, you know, that momentum from a private, you know, market standpoint may, you know, die out faster than we think. And, you know, let's say if we get 10 properties done in the county, that's huge. I mean, that would be a big deal, to do 10 properties. You know, if we do more than that, that's great, but, you know, maybe your money comes back to you sooner. I think we just can't, we have to listen to what the investors are telling us, otherwise nobody's gonna use the program. And we would have done a ton of work for nothing.
Okay, work in progress.
So just know that we, you know, the intention,
You would
Judge, is not to have anything go beyond the 7-year period.
Mhm.
You know, it's either gonna be, that's when it's gonna turn out, or it'll be a balloon at that point. I mean, I'm not a big, you know, fan of balloon payments because that, you know, means that they don't have as much equity as we would like them to have. And most investors don't like that either because they have the uncertainty of what our interest rate's gonna be at the time of that balloon. What this one investor made clear this morning was that the 7 years gives him time to pay that principal down to the point where he's got a really low LTV that he knows he can go refinance, say 30%. You know, if he only has to refinance 30%, he can go to the bank and do that and still cash flow. You know, but if he only has 3 years to do it, he's only going to be down to maybe 70% LTV, and he's not going to be able to go to the bank and make that cash flow. I mean, that's the bottom line.
Okay, let's move on to number 6. Quarterly reports, basically, is what it's saying. We keep it posted on what it is that you're doing. Fairly, you know, simple with that. Hi, Katie. I didn't think you were coming until the next meeting, so.
We were confused. We
Yeah.
weren't sure.
Okay.
You're fine, you're fine.
All right, so we'll move through this. We need the right, you know, to be able to terminate if things aren't going real well.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, that's it. All sums of the loan by the county pursuant to this agreement shall be repaid on or before July 1st, 2025. So, you know, that's kind of the 7-year period of time that it takes to, I think right now, the only thing that we really have a difference on is going back to, we'll spend a little bit more time in 5C, the rehabilitation loans. I think we got some good clarity from everybody.
I think we also need, I need to get some clarity on having the county be listed as the beneficiary of the secured party versus Pioneer.
I also need time, I want to think about just the possibility of giving the 500,000, just giving the 500,000 rather, I mean, that's another option too.
I mean, it's certainly not an amount that we aren't familiar with, you know, so to speak. I mean, we've got $1.3 million right now in net assets, and you know, I think Nathan would prefer that scenario rather than having to, you know, be bothered every time we need a draw. New construction, you're going to need draws, you know, once a month or, you know, whatever it might be. So
And I've worked a lot in his types of positions. positions, so I.
Well, yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Okay, so.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so I think, but I need to get some clarity on number 4 as well. And maybe, you know, if you could talk to Will and have him maybe clarify for me why he's so adamant
Yeah,
that it says the county rather than PCDC.
We definitely will. That's part of what we've had, again, conversations with Will over the past, well, for a
I
month.
mean, again, I'm not saying he's not correct,
Yeah.
That's not the way that we typically, I mean, again, the money that the PCDC has always used has come from either the county or feds or somebody, and we've always been the secured interest on the loan, not the feds, not the state, not the county.
What he said was, because you saw, I posed your question to him, and his response was a phone call rather than, so that's why you didn't see it. It was, where's the protection for the county, was his concern and question, and why he just wanted it left the way he had drafted it. Where's the security, the protection for the county? But I think that's based on getting the funds back. I think that's why.
Well, and he also said during our meeting, and Steve made the point that, you know, essentially PCDC is almost a quasi county entity. I mean, in a lot of regards. I mean, that's where the dollars are coming from.
Well, I tried to express to Will that the board members of the PCDC, the loan committee with the PCDC were all experienced and quite capable of doing a lot of what they were asking to do. Will just doesn't have a whole lot of familiarity with the PCDC, and really trying to get some of that across has been fairly difficult. I feel,
I mean, I guess I would totally understand that he would be concerned about the complexity of it and that whether the PCDC can handle the program, but this basically is more saying, we don't trust you to give us the money back if there's a default,
Right.
you know.
Right.
And that goes against why we're doing this, because, you know, you guys have faith in PCDC, and the Oregon Solutions team had faith in PCDC to do this because of our experience over 20-some years, 25 years of
Right.
doing this.
Right.
So that's my thought on it.
Yeah. And
And I'm not saying I just have to find out from another attorney whether or not that really works.
Yeah.
I'm not sure it does.
Well, I think, initially, my thought is that, we give you guys $500,000 and after a period of time, hopefully this all works fine and great, and, everything is wonderful. We spend $100,000 demoing or, demoing dilapidated houses around, cleaning that mess up, creating an opportunity for lots to be sold. In the process, we have a loan program or a construction program that allows people to build on those new lots. I don't want to be a part of monitoring it. I don't have any background in any of that. So, next meeting, we're hoping to have, any input from you guys is great. I want to have a finalized MOA so that we can get started on this by January 17th and moving forward.
And the Declaration of Cooperation signing ceremony is on January 23rd at 5:30 p.m. at the Anderson Building. We hope that you guys can all attend. We'll have beverages and appetizers there. It is surely to be something to celebrate, so we would really love to have our county government there in attendance.
It's on my calendar.
Okay. Mike and Leslie, hopefully you guys can attend as well.
Okay, Rob, thank
What
you.
day is it?
More discussions. Yeah, Mike.
It's a Tuesday evening. It'll be here in town down at the Anderson Building.
Thanks for the opportunity as usual.
Okay, thanks again, Rob. Okay,